Now welcome, folks, I mean it from the heart, because the greatest show is about to start. It's happening right here before your very eyes, and one thing's for sure, you're in for quite a surprise. But then nothing's quite as it seems to be at the greatest show in the galaxy.
Hi everyone, TARDIS Guy 123 here, and today I'm going to be doing another Doctor Who review. This time we're looking at a 7th Doctor story. I haven't done one of these in ages. I've only done one before, and that was Remembrance of Daleks all the way back last year sometime. But anyway, here we are with the greatest show in the galaxy. Now this is a story I only got the DVD for recently and only watched recently. I've watched it a couple of times, I think about 3. And I love it. It is incredible. I'm not sure whether it's beaten Remembrance of the Daleks as my favourite 7th Doctor story, but these two are definitely competing. They are fantastic. They really are. But anyway, enough about Remembrance. Let's talk about this. And this is a story of hidden depths. I think that is basically what there is to say about this. It's got loads of hidden depths. Because on the face of it, it's just kind of like a rather simple circus thing, but then you've got loads of different things like character motivations. They all go through twists and turns, like the character of Captain Cook, and then and the character of Mags, who, while emotionally she doesn't go through any twists and turns, there are reveals about her character which really do kind of like show up and whatnot. And then there's also other characters such as the Chief Clown, and who is marvellous. Ian Reddington does such a great job playing that character. He honestly does. The Chief Clown is very good. He's very creepy. And I love how he's got those two voices, kind of like on that show circus voice, you know, the kind of like typical one that you'd expect of a clown, which is creepy in itself. But then you've got this kind of like low, deep, almost like behind the scenes voice that you don't really see too much of in kind of like other clown things. But here, you have that voice, and it's very creepy. And you know, despite not being given that many lines, he's got that wonderful hand gesture, and I'm doing it right now even though you can't see it, but he has that wonderful hand gesture which really does work well. And in that scene where Bellboy dies by the robots and he's just walking out the door, the music just builds up, and then he just does that hand movement, and it is perfect. The direction matches up perfectly, and the direction of this story is great. And, you know, all that comes together really, really nicely. Then you've got the character of Ace, who, you know, some people find overrated. I quite like her as a companion. I think she's a very strong companion. And, you know, despite being afraid of clowns, it's kind of, it's something that you don't really feel is thrown into her character. Like Clara suddenly becoming a school teacher, that came out of nowhere. But here, while the idea of her being afraid of clowns is a new one, it kind of like, it fits, it makes sense. You kind of like think, oh yeah, I can believe that, because you've seen her character, you've seen what she's like, and she's the kind of person you can believe that doesn't like clowns. And then the Doctor forcing her to go, it's kind of like that trip to the circus, where the parents want to go but the child doesn't, and rather than the child actually enjoying it and the parents being like, I told you so, here it's Ace as the child telling the parent, the Doctor, I told you this was a bad idea, and that's very nicely done, I feel. You know, it's kind of like that subtle subtext, there's that hidden layers, and of course you have the whole thing about the programme's position at the time. That's reflected in this, with WizKid being the obsessive fan of this thing that he says, not as good as it used to be, but I'm still terribly interested. That kind of reflects many of the fandom at the time, you know, 1988, where the show's kind of like on a low, but it was lifting itself out of that mid-80s low that it had gone through with the show and whatnot. It was lifting itself out of that. It was picking up in quality again, and this script and Remembrance of the Daleks are proof of that. The quality was going up. It really was. Those two stories are fantastic, and you know. And then you've got that, and then you've got the Gods of Ragnarok as the BBC executives, in a way. You know, there are loads of those hidden layers, those hidden subtexts that really do drive the story and make it interesting. And then there's just little moments here and there, such as when Sylvester McCoy and the character of Mags are leaving the circus to escape in part 4, and you know, she growls at Morgana and the Chief Clown, who are blocking the way, And then she goes through, and then the Doctor goes through and just simply goes woof at the Chief Clown, and he jumps, and it's a little moment, but it's moments like that that are really, really good. Now, there are some negatives, I'm afraid, and that's mainly the ending of this, where, it works, kind of, in the logic of the story. You don't really question it, but then if you start to think about it, it just doesn't really make sense. It's not explained. It's just this medallion that somehow has the power to deflect the shots of the gods of Ragnarok. They basically just throw this thing into the well, winds up where the Doctor is in the Dark Circus, as they call it, kind of like this other dimension. He holds it up, and then suddenly the gods of Ragnarok fire at him and destroy their own base. Arena, whatever it is. It doesn't really work for me. What do you think about? And then the Doctor throwing up that piece of metal and it suddenly coming down as a sword. Not entirely keen on that, I'm afraid. But, it works, I guess, within the logic of the story. You don't really question it too much if you're watching it all the way through. But, when you watch it a second or third time and you think about it, you begin to think, what was that? I mean, it's unfortunate that, but nevertheless, it is what it is. And to be honest, it works for me a bit. I think I do like it. It doesn't spoil the story for me. Will it get a marked drop? I don't know. We'll find that out a bit later. But nevertheless, that's probably my biggest negative. And then you've got wonderful, wonderful performances. And you can kind of see Sylvester McCoy and Sophie Aldred picking up the game with these such great performances from Jessica Martin, I think it is, who plays Mags. Then you've got Ian Reddington as the Chief Clown. All these wonderful performances, and I don't know the name of the guy who played Captain Cook, but he really does give it his all and makes it very sinister. It makes it very innocent almost towards the start. A bit selfish, but nevertheless, it works, and you kind of get almost that mirror with him and Mags mirroring the Doctor and Ace, and that's nice. And he's kind of this famous intergalactic explorer as well, and it's just very world building as well. You have this entire world built from that kind of stuff, where you got WizKid going, I've got maps of all your adventures and whatnot, and you've got all these different planets listed, and it's like Robert Holmes's world building, where it's not done through too much not done too much backstory. I've forgotten, there's a word for it which I've forgotten, and I'm sorry. It's usually seen as padding a bit, it's usually seen as a bit annoying. But here, that kind of backstory is explained through the dialogue in a much better way, where they're just kind of saying it offhand rather than forcefully sticking it in there. And that forcefully sticking it in there is a word which I can't remember. So annoying. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's a word I can't remember. But it works. And you do have a bit of that when Deadbeat / Kingpin is talking to the Doctor and whatnot. No, it's not Deadbeat, sorry. It's the other one who kills himself. Bellboy, that's it, yeah. You kind of get that thing where he's talking to Ace and the Doctor and whatnot about they had such brilliant ideas and everything. So yeah, overall, fantastic story. I really do love this. So thanks for watching this review, everyone. 10 or 9 out of 10. It's got to be one of those two. I think I'll be generous and say 10 out of 10. It is great. If you haven't got this, I recommend you get it as soon as possible, because it's such a good story. It really is enjoyable. It doesn't drag at all. It's got loads of stuff going on in it that makes it drag. And then you've got kind of these lovely moments with the gods of Ragnarok, who are just kind of these free audience members that you don't think much of at the time. You just think they're there, but then you begin to get a bit suspicious of them, and you realise what they really are. And that's very well done as well. And then when the Doctor's in their realm and whatnot, that stuff's very well done. So overall, great story. I cannot recommend it enough if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it, go and watch it again. Honestly, it's fantastic. It may well be my favourite Sylvester McCoy story. It may well not be that. That may be Remembrance of the Daleks. Who knows? Maybe you'll find out later. Maybe you won't. But anyway, I'm going to end this video off here by saying thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all next time with the review of The Seeds of Doom, a Fourth Doctor story, a great Fourth Doctor story. That's all I'm going to say for now. See you all next time, everyone.